right, guys, we're on episode 15 here of Off the Sidelines Property Podcast. We've got a special guest on today. I'll introduce my co-host first, Onus.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us again. And yes, we have a very special guest, Fiona Decker of Rate Money Ride. She is the branch principal ex-conveyancer also. So she has a wealth of knowledge to share with us. Regarding self-employed home loans and how self-employed business owners can really tap into the property market. So Fiona, I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your background and how you came to be and your origin story.
Yeah, so I guess, so as you said, I'm Fiona Decker from Rate Money Ride. Rate Money are mortgage managers, and we actually won the MFAA 2022 Mortgage Manager of the Year, so we're very proud of that.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's amazing. So basically, I've been with Rate Money Ride for 2.5 years,
Awesome.
pretty much since Rate Money began. And prior to that, I was a licensed conveyancer in New South Wales.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And for our audience, what is a mortgage manager? Because people hear about brokers, they're about lenders, they're about bankers. There's so much jargon. What is a mortgage manager? Is that different? Or?
Yeah, absolutely it is. So a mortgage manager, so as a mortgage manager, so we assist you with basically from A to B, A to Z actually. So we lodge the loan for you. We take care of you through the whole process, settlement, and then once settlement's finished, we also look after you. So if you wanted extra money, if you wanted to change your direct debit request account number or any information about your loan for the whole entire life of the loan, you're not sitting on a call centre, you're not on hold, you just ring my mobile number, and I'll look after you.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks. That's a great explanation, Fiona. So, I guess, why would someone typically come and see you and what's your base clientele?
The base clientele is self-employed.
Yep.
So we specialise in self-employed home loans, and people would come and see us generally when they've had a no from the banks. Sometimes banks don't understand how to assess self-employed income.
Right.
So when they come to us, we can offer lots of flexibility surrounding how self-employed people declare their income.
Yeah, interesting. Because being self-employed myself, that sounded funny, but yeah. So being self-employed, like our income, of course, it's not always consistent. So how would that work from your standpoint? Because when it rains, it shines, and then sometimes there are drought seasons as well. So income is a bit seasonal. So how would it work from your point of view?
Yeah, I guess so. So specifically, I'll talk about LODOC if that's okay.
Sure.
You guys know what LODOC is?
We do.
I kind of do, but maybe Bob, that's our avid listener, doesn't. So if
I'll tell Bob.
Yeah, please
Okay.
let
Listening,
Bob know.
So there are two types of way to declare your income. So there's full doc lending, which is, typically the banks want to see 2 years tax returns for the company, 2 years financials, 2 years individual tax returns, and then your notice of assessments, plus, perhaps other documents.
Sure.
And that's how they use your income for servicing purposes.
Yep.
However, there's also another type of lending called LODOC lending.
Yep.
And basically it's a flexible way for self-employed people to declare the income that they can.
Okay. And in regards to that, when you say flexible way, what does that mean?
Yeah, so there's three main different ways that you can declare your income via a LODOC loan. So the first would be an accountant's declaration.
Yep.
So that's basically a form that your accountant signs, and it basically says that they act as your accountant.
Yep.
They have access to your financial records,
Yep.
and based on those financial records, they consider that you can repay the loan that you've applied for.
Wow.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
There's also two different other types, which is business activity statements.
Yep.
So basically, we can also get your last 12 months worth of business activity statements,
Yep.
and we take 40% of the turnover, and we can use that as servicing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last one is business banking statements. And we usually want to see 6 months business banking statements. And then we add up all the debits, take away all the credits, and we leave a little bit for your tax obligations. And then we can use that amount for servicing for you.
Yep. Okay. So it seems like there's quite a holistic approach to self-employed business owners, and that you guys are really trying to look after them, and there's more than one way for business owners to obtain a loan. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, well, I guess we're all self-employed. So, you know, we've had the no's, you know, we've had the banks asking for documents. You know, I read an amazing article the other day, and one line that really stuck with me was that banks look in their rearview mirror when assessing self-employed income. Yep. And I thought it was so true. So, you know, banks want to see your 2 years tax returns from 2 years ago, you know, whereas, you know, your business is always changing. You know, like, for example, you guys are in a much better position now than you were 2 years ago. But if you were applying for a loan with a big bank, they'd ask for your 2 years tax returns. Whereas, you know, if you were to look down the low doc opportunity, you know, and show your last 6 months business banking statements or your BAS statements, you know, that could show a completely different picture to the bank. And I guess that's the picture that we want to see. You know, we want to see what's your business doing right now. You know, are you working hard? We want to reward the self-employed people that are working really hard to grow their business.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you got any stories of anyone that you've recently helped that was pretty awesome and they didn't think they could get helped or anything like that, or unusual situations?
Great question. So one incredible deal that I was very proud to get across the line. So I had a customer come to me, and they were a day trader.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty common these days, right? Like,
It
a lot
is,
of people
yeah.
are doing that, yeah.
It's very, very cool job.
Nice.
So they were a day trader, and they were trading US stocks. And the banks did not like this whatsoever. You know, it was foreign income. They wanted to shade the income, etc. So he came to me, and I was able to settle 6 loans for him.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
massive.
6 properties. And we were able to low doc declare the income that he was receiving from the day trading.
Wow, so they had an appetite for that. That's awesome.
They did, yeah. So that's probably one of my proudest moments. You know, when he literally, and he was a very, very wealthy person. You know, it was very clear that he was very successful, very good at what he did. But you know, just due to the bank's policies, you know, they just weren't able to do it. Whereas we were able to find a solution, and we wrote that loan. So that was that was a good one. They were very happy customers.
And it's hard with people like that because, like, I've dealt with people before that think that, like, because they have money, they're entitled to get more money. But then the banks are like, no, you don't have the right verification. Where's your pay slip? Things like that. And they can be really hard to deal with. But after you get them over the line, they're the happiest people on the planet, and like they would literally do anything for you, refer all your friends, their friends to you and things. So it's really cool stories like that are awesome to hear.
Just with the services you provide, Fiona, what are they exactly? So one, you do service business owners, but is there any other types of people you provide loans to?
Yeah, absolutely. So we also do self-managed super fund loans.
Okay, nice.
So we can do commercial loans and residential loans. So if you have any listeners out there that have an interest in any of that type of lending, they can certainly give me a call.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, SMSF's becoming a lot more popular these days. I feel a lot of people are buying property through it now. People have gone through the shares phase and things like that, and they're back to the SMSF properties and things now. So they're becoming a lot more popular, but a lot of banks still don't offer them, do they?
Yeah, no banks do SMSF lending anymore.
Wow.
They pulled away maybe 5 years ago from doing that type of lending. It is, and I can see why they did, because, you know, I guess whilst it's not complex. You know, there's a lot of documents required for an SMSF loan from the credit perspective. Obviously, if you're a customer, you know, we make it very easy for you. Home loan interview, sign here. Is this correct? Is this what you're wanting to do? But you know, I'd love to bust that myth that, you know, SMSF lending is really not that complex. There are so many amazing things that you can do within an SMSF. At the moment, I've got lots of customers that are buying the premises that they operate out of.
They work
so we've got solicitors, financial planners, accountants, all buying their commercial offices within their SMSF. We've got online distributors buying warehouses within their SMSF to operate their businesses out of. And I guess it's a way of locking in the goodwill of your business.
Right.
as well as operating out of there. And I guess from an asset protection perspective, once you have that asset within your SMSF, if anything was to happen to you or your business, that's locked away safe.
Protected.
And no one can touch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's got good asset protection.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. And what are the advantages with doing anything in your SMSF?
Oh, so there are heaps.
Yeah.
So I'll guess the one that everyone is tax.
Yep.
I mean, the lowest tax rate in Australia is 0.
Okay.
And the second lowest tax rate is 15%, and that is within your SMSF.
Wow.
There are loads of advantages in terms of tax benefits that you can get from having property within your SMSF. I think from a self-employed perspective, it's hard to be consistent with your retirement, because at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, you've got all your tax obligations, etc. And sometimes you just don't want to put money into your own SMSF. Whereas, if you've got a mortgage, it's that awareness, that consciousness, okay, I have to put a little bit of money in every month. And then, when you're 50, 60, you'll thank yourself for it, being a self-employed person, having a self-managed super fund.
Yeah, awesome.
It's really smart. Really,
It's almost
smart.
forced saving. I hate to say the term forced savings, but it actually is because, I know myself, you put it to the side as a self-employed person because everything else takes priority, and you think, oh, I'm only quite young, I've got ages until I retire, but actually it creeps up before you know it.
And when should someone come and see you if they were ever thinking about purchasing through their SMSF?
Oh, so
is there like a dollar value maybe, or like a time in one's life?
So the sooner the better, I say.
Yes.
However, there is a caveat to that. So the ATO does say that you should have a minimum balance of $250,000 within your super to start.
Okay.
And I've actually seen that play out. So I had a customer come to me and they wanted to refinance their a property within their SMSF. We have a minimum $250,000 net asset. You need $250 minimum net assets in your superannuation fund for me to be able to help you at this point in time. And I couldn't actually write the loan because she only had $100,000. So I think somewhere along the line, she had been given some misinformation from someone or thought it was a fantastic idea and then didn't do her research, didn't have a good accountant, perhaps, I'm not sure. So she was stuck with this loan. So then she proceeded to sell it and then she only still had $100K in her super fund. So, she would have gone to the expense of, opening up all the structures that you need, rolling over everything into SMSF, and it didn't really work out for her. But, if you do have the 250 as a start, there's just so many options out there, commercial, resi, and I guess a buyer's agent as well. If someone was to come to you and say, look, I'm 30 or I'm 40, you could find the perfect property for how long they've got to their retirement and what sort of growth they need. I'm a big super advocate of self-managed super funds. I love them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, they're good, but a lot of people don't really know much about them, do they? That's the hard part. People think, oh, it's out of my scope or it's this and that, but if you do a little bit of research, speak to some professionals, you can pick it up pretty quickly and find the right people to speak to and look into it, which is pretty cool as well.
Yeah, there's also the ATO has heaps of videos online, really simple animated videos.
That's good. That's really cool.
It makes it really easy to understand. So absolutely, if you've got any interest in investing in any real estate in your self-managed super fund, go on the ATO, call an accountant that specialises in SMSF.
Okay, awesome. And I'm not too sure if this is a myth or a fact, Fiona, but for self-employed people, are interest rates typically higher when they come to see you, comparing them to the bigger banks? Or
so we do full doc lending and low doc lending. Okay. So for self-employed full doc, they're much of a muchness. I mean, they're quite similar to the big banks.
Yep.
Low doc inherently is a little bit higher than full doc. Always has been, always will be, just because of the nature of the way that the borrower is declaring the income. Yep. But look, I think self-employed people, a lot of the time, they just want the property. So, and over, if you're holding a property over the long term, a % extra over the long term, it's neither here or there, really. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, because especially if you buy well and that asset is appreciating in value, what's a percentage or two compared to that asset growing, 10, 20, 30% in like the next 3, 4, 5 years?
And if you really drill it down to the extra weekly repayment, you think, that's a dinner out or something. It's not actually that much. You think a % more, wow, that's a lot. But actually, when you look at the weekly repayment, it's actually not that much.
Less than a cup of coffee a day most of the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's fantastic.
What are your turnaround times typically at the moment? I see like a lot of people saying that weeks, 14 days, things like that. What are your turnaround times?
So all of our funders right now have 24-hour turnaround.
Wow, that's really good.
Which is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. So literally, if I submit your application today, I will call you before 5 o'clock tomorrow telling you, you've got a conditional approval.
Why is everyone else taking so long?
I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
SLAs are, really good at the moment.
Yeah,
That's really
that's
good.
awesome.
And in terms of the SMSF timeframes, is that a little bit longer?
Yeah, so typically commercial lending is about 10 business days because there's a lot more involved. Yes, but yeah, about 10 business days for commercial.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
I think it's very
and I
good.
think when you, I guess resi is a lot more of an emotional purchase, whereas commercial, it's quite transactional. So, I don't think no one's, calling me on a Friday saying I've got a bid at auction on Saturday for my dream home. Do we have an answer yet? Whereas with commercial, everyone's happy. I guess if you just give everyone the heads up, everyone knows that there's a 10 business day wait, then they're happy to wait.
Yeah, and that's pretty good, really, because there's a lot involved in commercial. It's not just your resi stuff where you get a pay slip and tick off on it. There's a lot more complex than
that's
that.
for sure.
So 10 days is still really good.
Yeah,
or
it's
2
not
weeks
bad.
is brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And do you see that like the time frame sort of panning out throughout the year, or do you think spring will start to pick up a bit and it might slow down a little bit, the turnaround times?
Oh, look, it's sort of quite good and bad at, I guess because with the interest rates rising, I guess people are a little bit more reluctant to be applying for loans and buying homes. So that's why the SLAs are so sort of quick at the moment. Whereas, I hope that, once spring arrives, more properties go on the market, everyone gets that buzz back and that confidence in the market, then the, obviously we'll be busier, but of course then the SLAs go up a little bit. But look, they're never 14, 30 days at all at rate money.
Wow, that's awesome.
No, they're always really, quite quick.
And the problem with if taking too long is speed kills deals. Like if you're negotiating a property and it takes months and things, it's too hard. But if you can have that in a short time frame, people can have their pre-approval ready, then we can negotiate for them within that day sometimes.
Yeah, wow.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So that speed's really good. I think now's a good time as well because you'd understand speed's fast with the deals getting approved. There's not 1,000 people putting in an application and waiting 30 days, but also there's not 1,000 people trying to buy a house. So you might only have 2 or 3 competitors. So you can negotiate. Like we're getting 100, 150 grand off properties at the moment just because people are scared, and now's a good time to really negotiate. So
yeah, I've seen it both in my conveyancing career and in my mortgage management career. Right place, right time, finance ready to go. You can pick up some absolute bargains.
I agree. That's why I like your turnaround times. That's awesome. And it's better for the buyer as well because if they're pretty much got their gun ready to go with their buyer's agent, their approval, they can just find a property and start shooting.
Oh, absolutely. And I think even it shows that you mean business. If you've already got your finance approved, you've got a piece of paper with a conditional approval on it, you've done all the hard work, you're motivated, you're ready to buy. And I think people take you much more serious than otherwise.
You're not a tire kicker, yeah?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. All right. And what are you kind of looking forward to? Are there any new kind of products that's coming out?
Interest-free home loans?
Any
I'll grab one
kind
of
of
those.
deals that business owners should be privy to?
Well, we
Anything
just...
on the horizon?
Yeah, so we've got Low Dot Construction,
Oh, nice.
which is...
That's awesome. No one does that.
Not many people do it.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so we're very excited. That just actually got released yesterday.
Awesome.
So that's owner-occupied
You heard it
only.
here first.
Yeah, owner-occupied Low Dot Construction. That's... I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are very interested, that have a block of land, can't show the financials to build on it. You can give me a call and we can have a look at your business banking statements, your BAS statements, and see if we can help you.
Wow, that's magnificent.
We probably have about 10 leads already. We better start looking through our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can build a duplex. So it is owner occupied. You can build a duplex, but we won't be able to use any rental income from the other side of the duplex.
For servicing or something,
that would work for example, if you were putting your in-laws next door, if that was something that if you'd like your in-laws living next door.
Not me personally.
Daniel would love that.
45 minutes is far enough. 45 seconds is a bit close. But yeah, no, that does work. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, that's fantastic.
I'm thinking about building a duplex personally after that conversation.
Yeah,
So we'll have to
let's do it.
have a look into that. We'll have to catch up offline and go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, Fiona, are there any parting words that you'd like to leave us with, just for self-employed business owners that are, considering getting a loan, but they don't really have the funds to kind of show for it as of yet? So maybe he's just started a business, or she has, and they're earning 50 grand a year, for example, but they're really passionate about property. What's their next steps?
Yeah, so I guess we do need a deposit. Low doc really works in the 80% LVR space and lower. So I guess, typically we want to see minimum 24-month ABN and minimum 12 months GST registration. However, there is exceptions to those rules. Give me a call. I'd love to help, small business owners, see their property dreams come to fruition. It is hard out there, and as we said, the banks a lot of the time don't understand what it's like to be self-employed. So I just say, give me a call, tell me what you want to do, and we can work on a plan. Even if you show me your BAS statements and it's not working right now, we can make a plan. You can come and see me in 6 months, a year, and see how we can get you into the property world.
I really like that, because a lot of places just say no, and it's come back when you work it out. It's like, well, if I could work it out myself, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, my calendar is full of people that I've got to call back in 6 months or a year, or just to touch base, because I can see so many self-employed people are so passionate. They're brave. They've gone out there and they've started their own business, and that takes guts, right?
100%.
And I want to help these people because I just love helping self-employed people.
That's awesome. Really passionate. I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So even if they don't get a yes now, they can get a yes in like 6 months.
Yeah,
or
let's table
a
it.
year's
This is what we need to do.
Yep.
You need to, reduce your credit card, or pay off the car loan, or do this, that, and the other. Whatever you need to do, it's a plan. Save this much, or let's get this deposit up, or whatever it is, and we can make it work.
I like that. And are people paying for these plans, Fiona, or is this all inclusive?
No, this is just out of the kindness of my heart. Obligation free.
Obligation free plan, guys.
Yeah.
So
Saint Fiona de Paul. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up right now, Dan.
Yeah, no, that's it for me. That's really exciting. As a small business owner, it is good to know that a lot of people have other options than just sitting there and waiting until they've got the 2 years tax return with all this income and all these figures and things like that. So it really gives them a hope. But also it's really good that, as you pointed out, self-employed people are probably the most driven people in Australia because they're not going to work in the normal system. They're not going to do that. They're the most driven people. And if they can't get a home loan, but someone's willing to help them and educate them, that's unbelievable. So I really like what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it from me. And thanks for another episode.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Fiona.
Ernest.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us.